Okay, so let's go back to the very beginning. I want you to picture the dawn of creation, but don't think of a soft, gentle sunrise. Think of a flash of divine engineering. From this primal clay, a form starts to take shape. But here's the thing, this is no simple statue. Inside this being, two powerful currents of energy start to pulse. One is just radiant light, and the other is this deep, potent shadow. You've got male and female energy swirling together, interwoven, and they're pulling in opposite directions, but they're bound by one single destiny: to unite. This is the real story of Adam. And you know what? Encoded in the very letters that describe his creation is a blueprint for the entire human experience. So let's decode it together.
Our whole journey kicks off right here, with this super famous verse from Genesis, Vayitzer Adonai Elohim et Hadam, or, and the Lord God formed the man. But you gotta look really close at that first word, Vayitzer, which means, and he formed. In the actual sacred text, the spelling is, well, it's strange. It's written with two letters Yud, not the normal single Yud you'd expect.
So, what's the deal? Is this just some ancient scribal error, a typo that's been copied down for thousands of years? Or is it something else? As the mystics teach, is this extra little letter a deliberate key, a signpost pointing to one of the deepest secrets of our own nature? This is the mystery we're going to unravel right now. To crack this code, we've got a clear roadmap. First, we're going to find the code that's hidden in the clay itself. Then, we'll unpack the two primal drives it's pointing to, and we'll map them out on the blueprint of the soul. We're going to have to understand the unique power of what they call the left side, and then figure out how we can create harmony by uniting it with the right. And finally, we'll bring it all home and see how you can master this inner system in your own life.
So, let's start with that extra letter. This is our way in. According to the Zohar, which is really the foundational text of Jewish mysticism, this is no accident. This little anomaly? It's a deliberate instruction, basically designed to help us unlock the dual architecture of the human soul.
And the teaching itself is just profound in its simplicity. Why are there two Yods? Well, it's because God performed not one, but two formations when he created Adam. Now, this isn't about creating two different people. It's about installing two fundamental opposing inner forces inside a single being. Right from the get-go, Adam was built with this dynamic internal tension.
These two formations, these are what the sages call the Yetzer Tov, the good inclination, and the Yetzer Ra, often called the evil inclination. But, good and evil doesn't really capture the technical reality of what's going on here. It's better to think of them as the two core drives of our inner operating system.
Yeah, let's reframe this with a tech analogy that makes more sense today. Our soul is like a really sophisticated operating system. The Yetzer Tov, that's the drive that's always trying to align the system with its source, right? It's pushing for optimal function, connection, expansion. The Yetzer Ra, on the other hand, it acts more like a firewall. Its job is to generate resistance, challenge, desire. It is not a virus trying to crash your system. No way. It's a necessary component that creates the friction the system needs to evolve, to get stronger, and to actually grow.
So let's just break that down a bit. On one side, you have the Yetzer Tov. It's the force of integration, the drive pushing us to connect with others, to be altruistic. On the other side, you have the Yetzer Ra. That's the raw, untamed potential of self-preservation, of desire. One without the other is totally incomplete. A system with only the Yetzer Tov would just be static, no challenges. And a system with only the Yetzer Ra, that would be pure, chaotic self-interest. So here's the key takeaway. You absolutely need both. Without this tension, there's no dynamic, evolving human experience, period.
So, how does this inner duality, this personal struggle, map onto the bigger picture? Well, this isn't just some psychological model. It's actually a reflection of a cosmic structure. These two drives are mapped onto a whole series of fundamental polarities that, according to the Kabbalists, structure all of reality.
And this table just lays out the whole map brilliantly. The Yetzer Tov, the good inclination, it aligns with what's called the right side. This is the principle of male energy, Zohar, and it's embodied by the Sefer of Chesed, which is all about unbounded kindness and love. Its color is white, and its action is expansion, giving. Then you have the Yetzer Ra, which aligns with the left side. This is the female energy principle, Nukva, embodied by the Sefer of Gevura. That's severity, judgment, strength. Its color is red, and its action is contraction, setting boundaries. You can see the perfect symmetry here, right? It's a complete blueprint of the soul's inner tension.
Now, holding this tension in balance, that's the whole game. The right side, the side of Chesed, it has this unique power to temper the raw severity of the left. and this power is mystically connected to the number 13. Why 13? Because it represents the 13 attributes of divine mercy. You can almost think of them as these flows of compassionate energy, and they are specifically designed to water, to soften, and ultimately to rectify the harsh, fiery judgments that come from that left side.
Okay, let's zoom in a little closer on this left side, this force of Gevurah. It is so important to understand that this is not an evil force in some simplistic, cartoonish sense. It is an essential, primal power. It's the engine of desire, it's the strength of judgment, it's the ability to say no and to set boundaries. I mean, without it, there'd be no ambition, no structure, no justice. It's a powerhouse of untamed potential.
The Zohar gives us a really critical piece of nuance here. It says the judgments that come from the male side, the right, they might start off harsh, but they tend to soften over time. But the judgments from the female side, the left, or nukva, they have a different nature. They might start soft, but they have the potential to build on each other, to compound and become more and more severe if they're left unchecked. Now, that's not a flaw. It's just a reflection of its immense power, which is exactly why it needs a conscious process of refinement and integration, what the mystics call sweetening. It needs to be integrated, not suppressed.
And that brings us to the ultimate purpose of this whole dualistic system. I mean, what's the point? The goal is not for the right to conquer the left, or for kindness to wipe out severity. The goal is for them to achieve a higher-order harmony, a secret union. This is the whole process of tikkun, or rectification.
The specific protocol for making this happen is known as zivug, and it's so much more than just coming together. It's a wholly proper union where two opposing forces don't just find a middle ground. No, they integrate to create something totally new and way more complete. It is the active mechanism for creating balance in this cosmic OS.
So let's actually visualize how this works. Step 1, you've got the raw, untamed power of the left side, Gevurah, represented by the color red. It's just pure, unchanneled judgment. Step 2 is the union, the zivug. The right side, Kesed, represented by white, actively engages and embraces the left. It doesn't fight it, it merges with it. And then the final step is integrated harmony, the tikkun. That raw red power is sweetened by the compassionate white, and it transforms that untamed opposition into a unified, rectified force for holiness. It's a whole new state that contains the power of both.
And you know, this process isn't just some internal psychological exercise. It has real cosmic implications. As the mystical texts tell us, when these principles, male and female, right and left, chesed and gevurah, when they are unified in this special way, all is perfected. The very name of God is considered completed, and blessings just flow down to all the worlds. This union is the key to both personal and cosmic healing.
So, what does this ancient cosmic blueprint mean for us, right here, right now? Why does any of this matter? Because this isn't just theology, it's literally a user manual for the human soul. It gives us a framework for understanding and hopefully mastering our own inner system. Let's start with a video game analogy, which I love. Think of your soul as a character you're playing. When you're created, you get two core stats. You have a helper force, the Yetzer Tov, that gives you boosts and guidance. But you also have a challenger force, the Yetzer, and its job is to throw obstacles and enemies in your path. Now, the goal of the game is not to find some cheat code to get rid of the challenger. No, the goal is to use the resistance it provides to train, to grind, to level up. By balancing these two forces, you unlock higher levels of consciousness, new abilities, whole new maps. True mastery isn't about defeating the challenger, it's about integrating its power and turning that source of challenge into your absolute greatest strength. Or, okay, if the video game thing isn't for you, let's try a cosmic engineering analogy. The human soul is a dual-process system, engineered for peak performance through dynamic tension. You've got an expansion protocol, chesed, that drives giving and outreach, and you have a contraction protocol, gevurah, that drives focus and setting boundaries. The key is, these two have to be synchronized. If that contraction protocol runs unchecked, the system collapses into harsh, brittle judgment. If the expansion protocol runs wild, you get total instability, burnout, no structure. The engineer's objective here is integrated stability, a harmonized state where these competing drives work together to produce a resilient, efficient, high-output system.
So all of this leaves us with a very practical question. You've now seen the blueprint, the code that was hidden in the clay from the very beginning. You get the two drives, the right and the left, expansion and contraction. So the question for you is, how will you consciously engineer the union of these two forces in your own life this week? Where do you maybe need a little more kindness to temper your judgment? And where do you need more structure to channel your giving?
Thank you for joining us for this complete journey through the Pardes. We hope these ancient truths help you and your family improve your own dimensions this week. If you enjoyed this full chapter deep dive, please like, subscribe, and share which part of the journey touched your soul in the comments. We'll see you in the next chapter.